Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again doing another discography countdown of one of my favorite bands. Today we are going to be doing a really difficult one. We are going to be doing Moonsorrow. This is one of the hardest discography rankings I've probably ever done because their discography is fucking flawless. They only have 7 albums. I would consider this up there in terms of difficulty to rank, along with, like, say, Death, for example, where every single album they ever released is just a fucking masterpiece. So it's really difficult to say one is better than the other. So even though something's gonna come last here, it does not mean that it's not an awesome album. Literally, these albums could be changed up in any order, and I would still probably think that your list is good. Like, what I put last could be first on someone else's list because they're just that good of a fucking band. So anyways, yeah, if you don't know much about Moonsorrow, this is like some epic pagan folk black metal, kind of all melded together. Really, they are the best at this. No one else really does this kind of like folk black metal atmospheric stuff quite on the same level that they do. They write a lot of really long epic songs. Like, the word epic will probably be used a lot in this video. Their average song lengths are probably like 14-15 minutes. So this is definitely not the kind of music that's for everybody. But if you've never given them a shot before, hopefully this video will give you some of my opinions on which albums you should go check out. And anyways, let's just get right into this. I will apologize in advance if there's any Finnish viewers out there. I am going to butcher all of these pronunciations. None of their songs are in English. This is all in Finnish. So yeah, good luck to me. I'm gonna butcher these terribly, but let's just get right into this. Coming in at number 7, my least favorite Moonsorrow album, although I would still easily give it an 8.5 out of 10. This their second most recent album. It's from 2011, called Verjoina Kuljemi Kulaiden Masa. Already butchering it, but yeah, there we go. This one is absolutely great. So putting it last, like I said, does not mean this is not good. This is an absolutely awesome album. It's 7 songs. It's right around an hour long, but there are 3 interludes that are just like someone walking through the snow. So really, it's like 4 long songs that are around 15 minutes each. This album, I'm only putting it last because it's kind of... This album, it's got slower tempos, kind of sticks in the same mid-paced tempo almost the whole time, but it's got a very anthemic feel. Like, most of these feel like anthems. There's a lot of melancholy behind these riffs, and the atmosphere is very sad and heavy, but it's great. They really bring in kind of a lot of like the Bathory Viking era influence you can really hear in here. My favorite tracks on here, Muinaiset. Huto is definitely my favorite on the album. Kurlaiden Ma is a 16-minute epic. All in all, like I said, it's only coming last because something had to come last, but this is still an absolutely epic, awesome album. Definitely still go listen to it. And let's move this right along. Coming in at number 6 from 2003 is Kavinkantaja. This is probably their folkiest album in their whole career. This one has 6 songs. It's about 54 minutes. This was before they got to the extreme lengths, but the songs were starting to get a little bit longer. This album, they are all epics. It's kind of got a ballady quality to most of it, like they're long ballads almost. Very folky atmosphere on a lot of this. There's a lot of keyboards, and you can really hear the sorrow and beauty like permeating throughout the album. Like, it's just such a gorgeous atmosphere on here, and they really bring in so much folk elements. It's really fucking great. My favorite tracks on here, the title track, Kavinkantaja, Jumultin Kapunki, is really great, and probably my favorite is the opener. It's a really long epic to start the album, Roina Yola. I don't know how to say these. I'm apologizing. I will just butcher these continually. But yeah, that's my favorite track on the album. It's really fucking great. And yeah, this is their folkiest album, but it's fucking killer, and that's why it's up here. Let's get into the top 5 now. And coming in at number 5, I'm going with the debut from 2001, Sudin Uni. This is definitely still when they're in their more folky stage, but there is this album kind of has more of a black metal edge to it than, say, Kavinkantaja. The vocals are a lot harsher. There are a lot of accordions and keyboards, and still brings in a lot of great folk melodies. Don't get me wrong, this isn't just a straight-ahead black metal album. None of their stuff is straight-ahead black metal. There's always that folk element to it. My favorite songs on here, Koilang Joyvan Jungla. Fuck, I can't even say any of this. This has a really nice, clean singing mixed in with the screams, which is really great. Ukoi Senjumailan Poika and 1065 Aika is a really long epic on here. All in all, just a really solid fucking debut album. Really killer stuff. And that's why it's coming in at number 5. Moving it right along to number 4. Ooh, this one was tough. I really wanted to put this album higher, but I didn't end up just because I listened to the other 3 a little bit more. But coming in at number 4 from 2007 is the album V Habiteti, or the English translation is Chapter 5, Ravaged. This one is, by all definitions of the word epic, it is a fucking epic. It's only 2 songs and it's 56 minutes. The first song is half an hour, the second one is 26 minutes. So yeah, that's not going to be for everyone. It's a lot to digest, I know. So the only reason I have this at number 4 is because it's so lengthy. It's maybe not one that I go back to as often. So you got to really be in the mood to listen to this. But that being said, this is an absolutely amazing goddamn album. The songwriting on here is so fucking good. Just an awesome display of songwriting. They really start bringing in some more progressive tendencies. Obviously, when the songs are this long, like, this is epic as all fuck. It's just massive in scope. I would even consider this more just like atmospheric, epic black metal. They've really minimized the folky elements on this album. That still really has a folky atmosphere, and it really brings in some folk parts in the melodies. But compared to the earlier works, it doesn't have a lot of the folk instrumentation. It just kind of has the feel of it in there. But yeah, like I said, it's only 2 songs. I'm not going to name off favorite songs. The whole fucking album is great. But all in all, this is just... it's got such a triumphant feel to this album. Like, it's sorrowful and triumphant. And you use those words interchangeably, like, at the same fucking time. But they're just the masters of writing these kind of long epics. And this album just puts it on display. It's so goddamn good. Almost wanted to put it higher, but let's get into the ones that I adore even fucking more. Coming in at number 3 is actually their most recent album from 2016, Jumalta Aika. This one is just fucking great. In my opinion, this is probably their catchiest album. It's got almost like a swampy, folky atmosphere to it. There's a lot more chanting and choirs than on maybe some of their stuff, but it's still very epic. The riffing on here is definitely more black metal in nature, but there's a lot more variation in the tempos than, say, the album right before, which was the one from 2011, which I had last on my list, which was still great, but I like the variation on here a lot more. My favorite songs on here, my favorite song for sure, one of my favorite Moonsorrow songs is Rutol Heto. The title track, Jumalta Aika, is very good. Mimis Brun is great. Sudin Tunti, like, all 5 songs on here are amazing. This one's 5 songs, like 66 or 67 minutes. Very long epics. Absolutely amazing. They didn't lose a step later in their career. Like, I can't wait to see what they do next as a follow-up to this. I have heard that they're in the process of writing, recording a new album, so hopefully we'll get that next year or something. But yeah, for those of you that have never listened to Moonsorrow, even though this is their newest album, I would say this is a great starting point because it's a little maybe more accessible than some other albums. Even though the songs are very long, there's a catchiness to the riffs and the melodies that will really stick in your ear, and it'll really let you know what you're in for with Moonsorrow. But now let's move it right along. I got 2 albums left. Let's see which one is my favorite. Coming up next at number 2 from 2001 is their second album, Voimasta Joy Kuniasta. I've actually got a poster of that one up there, so I bet you thought that was going to be number 1, but no, I got it coming in at number 2. This one is definitely more folky than the debut. They did both come out in 2001, but they really brought in more folk instrumentation on the second album. There's more keyboards, but the melodies are just amazing. It really brings in this great, like, Viking atmosphere. You can really feel it on here. This one's a little shorter. It's only 6 tracks and it's only like 48 minutes. So they're still long songs, but they're not like 15-minute songs. Favorite tracks on here, Sankari Hauta. Fuck, I can't pronounce this. Sankari Hauta, I think is how it would be pronounced. Orinko Jaku. And a really long epic on here is Sankari Tarina. Fucking just absolutely amazing goddamn album. That's why it's coming in number 2. And that just leaves one album, my favorite Moonsorrow album, at least today. Like I said, these albums and this order could switch at any time because they're all that goddamn good. But right now, my favorite Moonsorrow album from 2005 is Verisakit. This is probably their most black album, their darkest. They kind of switched. The album right before was Kivin Kataja, was their folkiest album. Then they kind of really brought out the black metal and the dark edge on this album. I still would not call this like a pure black metal album, not at all. There's still folk elements there. It's just a lot darker and more like evil atmosphere. But this album, I find, between the folk and the black, this has the perfect balance. They really combine it very well on all their albums, but this one, it's my favorite because I felt like they really balanced it out right on this album. This is when they started getting into the longer songs. This one's only 5 songs and it's like 70 minutes. There's a lot of clean singing used in just certain spots, but it really blends well with the harsher vocals. Favorite tracks on here, Karhunkinsi. Fuck, I can't say any of these. Haska, Pimia, Jotunheim is like a 19-minute epic. Absolutely amazing. That's probably my favorite song on the album. Just all in all, absolutely epic masterpiece, as all of their fucking albums are. Anyways, I would love to hear down below what your favorite Moonsorrow albums were. I had such a hard time with this fucking ranking, so I'd like to hear your opinions on it too. Anyways, until next time, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Hammerheart Metal Reviews out!